Judo, if judo then continued when you were on the ground.
With wrestling.
With wrestling, if wrestling then continued with submissions. Underground basement with no ventilation. And that's how I started training jiu-jitsu, in a cave.
The baseline of every conflict is violence. The confidence you get by being capable when you reach that baseline is something that allows you to be more confident in the steps before. Maybe you shouldn't do this, like the calm down, you don't want to mess
Yeah, the calm down, you don't want to mess with me, bro.
He doesn't do boxing or anything, but he saw a video on how to throw a punch correctly, and that was already enough. Even though he was way skinnier than them, just because he watched a YouTube video. It hurts your ego a little bit, especially if it's the first time that you fight against a woman, and you're like, oh, I got cooked by a woman. I will never live this down. In a street fight situation, realistically, you wouldn't just grapple. Like,
you would also hit back.
You have equal opportunity to the other guy to just punch him in the face.
Hello, my name is Jacob, I'm a blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and this is my brother.
My name is Joshua, and I'm a white belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is a grappling martial art. You know, there's only two types of martial arts that exist, and they are either striking or grappling. And then there's a subclass of whether you do it with weapons or not, but either way, it's still striking or grappling. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a grappling martial art, where instead of punching and kicking and elbowing and kneeing your opponent, you submit your opponent, you choke your opponent, you put pressure on certain ligaments to make your opponent give up. You break arms, stuff like that.
Throw them around.
Yeah, I completely forgot. There's a stand-up, my bad. There's a stand-up, yeah, you can throw people around. Yeah. It's basically like judo, if judo then continued when you were on the ground.
With wrestling.
With wrestling, if wrestling then continued with submissions. And why we do it? I do jiu-jitsu because I always wanted to do a martial art, and for some reason I just never got around to doing it because it was either inaccessible to me because it was super far away or extremely fucking expensive. Then recently I went to Italy to study in Florence, and there, luckily enough where I was, there was many gyms. Okay, there were many gyms of jiu-jitsu, so I could literally take my pick. And I did, and I'm very glad to have found the right one the second time around I went. And it was extremely cheap. So that's when I could start igniting my passion for martial arts, which I always had in the past. I liked like violence. It was cool. No, because it's like cool, you know. So
it's cool.
It's cool. It's like Sigma, you know. So I wanted to do martial arts so I could partake in this joy that all
the
these
deep
people.
satisfaction of punching someone in the face.
Yeah. Because people that do fighting, they're always like, oh, you should fight. It's so cool. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. And that's why I do it. The reason why it had to be jiu-jitsu specifically, or it didn't really have to be jiu-jitsu, I was fine with doing any other martial art, but it became jiu-jitsu because the commercial gym I went to train and like lift weights, they had a jiu-jitsu coach there, and he would train jiu-jitsu in a like underground basement with no ventilation. And that's how I started training jiu-jitsu, in a cave. It was called the BJJ cave, man. Legendary place. By the way, it's here. So if you wanna go train, go ahead.
Meanwhile, I started because this guy told me to. I had a bit of an epiphany, and I was like, you know what? I gotta start doing more physical activity, you know? Because I mean, I used to go to the gym all the time. I mean, I still do, but less now because I do jiu-jitsu.
It's just more fun.
I definitely like jiu-jitsu more than going to the gym. And yeah, I think it's a really good outlet for me, honestly, as well. It makes me feel more productive.
Yeah.
It's also just cool. You meet lots of new people, and I'm very extroverted, so I very much like training there with all the other people who do the same thing that I like doing. It's cool.
You also just become more confident, you know? If you were to take away all of your physical training and martial arts training, then if you just put yourself in a room full of people, you would feel insecure. You know, you wouldn't feel sure of yourself. And that's because if there was a potential situation that everyone's aware of but nobody talks about constantly, then you would have no skills to do anything in it. You know, you would be at the mercy of the people around you and at the mercy of chance. So it also helps to make you feel more secure, you know, like more sure of yourself.
The baseline of every conflict is violence. And so it doesn't mean that you need to use violence to
Yeah,
feel
by all
more
means.
certain when you are in conflict. It's just that the confidence you get by being capable when you reach that baseline is something that allows you to be more confident in the steps before, you know?
Yeah.
The talking, the maybe you shouldn't do this, like the calm down, you don't want to mess
Yeah,
with
the calm down. You don't want to mess with me, bro.
Except for we're not even that good, so we can't really say that.
Yeah, no, it's still like it's
In
really
general,
insane.
though.
The difference between someone that trains even a little bit and someone that doesn't train at all is massive. And I'm not just talking about the skill of you know, if there ever was a conflict that would reach the baseline level of conflict, but I'm talking about just in general how you carry yourself. There's a massive difference.
You know what really demonstrates the difference between someone who even knows how to throw a punch and someone who doesn't know how to throw a punch? Those boxing machines at arcades.
Yeah.
I've seen muscular ass dudes throw a punch and like they hurt their own wrist. I've heard of some dude who broke his own wrist by punching it wrong because they just threw the punch wrong. I don't even know what they did. They just don't know how to do it, and then they get like these whack ass scores. And then I see like a skinny friend of mine who like he doesn't even do boxing, but this happened recently. I had a bowling night at with my colleagues, and I have this one skinny colleague. He doesn't do boxing or anything, but he saw a video on how to throw a punch correctly, and that was already enough to make him get the highest score out of all my other colleagues. It was really funny. Even though he was way skinnier than them, just because he watched a YouTube video. So yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate the difference in it, you know? Which is why I think everyone should really, you know, start doing some sort of martial art.
Yeah.
Also because I feel like you become a better, more complete person, right? You become more weary of your actions, so to say, because you know that you're capable.
Yeah, and adding to that, by the way, people that don't do martial arts are actually the ones that tend to skip the steps and go directly to the baseline because they're afraid. And so they think, okay, if I swing first, then I'll win. Wrong. You know, you see what I mean? Like if you're a trained person, you're gonna put more effort into the steps before because you don't want to reach the baseline.
Yeah, you don't want to hurt anyone.
You know, it's an insecurity to always escalate to that first. You don't want to be doing that.
Insecurity leads to escalation. I think that's very true.
Yeah, honestly, like more people need to do martial arts. I'm not just talking about men, but like people in general should just do more martial arts.
Women too.
Yeah, women too. Jiu-jitsu is pretty popular with women.
Yeah, there's a lot of women who do jiu-jitsu. And it's scary that
It's scary.
as a guy, I know you always underestimate the women because you know that you could like pull things with violence and just pure strength.
Yeah.
But like if a woman is just straight up better than you, she will still
Cook
beat you. Yeah, she'll
still
beat you.
cook you.
You'll still get cooked.
The amount of times I've been cooked, man.
Yes. You wouldn't expect it, and like it hurts your ego a little bit, especially if it's the first time that you fight against a woman, and you're like, oh, I got cooked by a woman. I will never live this down. But in reality, you know, you're gonna be fine with it because as you keep doing it, you'll how do you say, you'll get more respect for the martial art itself.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, whenever we mention to anyone or anyone mentions jiu-jitsu as one of the greatest, if not the greatest martial art, like everyone starts talking about how useless it would be in a street fight. But like the people who say this, right? They don't do jiu-jitsu, right? So they don't know what they're talking about.
Let alone any martial art.
And it always pisses me off because it's like, do you want to try it? The thing is, they always have the same argument, like, oh, when it gets to the ground, you're gonna get kicked in the face, Like, do they not understand that it doesn't start on the ground? Like, there's a stand-up to it. There's a whole wrestling
Yeah,
thing.
there's a stand-up to it, and what makes you think that the grappler is just gonna grapple? That's not what they do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in a street fight situation, realistically, you wouldn't just grapple. Like,
you would also hit back.
You have the equal opportunity to the other guy to just punch him in the face, right? It's just that you would also know how to grapple.
It's just that you would also win the second it gets to the ground.
Yeah.
Because imagine you and the opposition, they have like the same rudimentary amount of punching skill, right? Like you're both street fighters, you don't really know how to do it correctly. You're not gonna knock each other out.
Yeah.
So that
I'm
you're just
realistic.
gonna fight and tussle until eventually it does get to the ground, and then when it does get to the ground, you're cooked. And then the other argument that people always say, the one of, oh, you know, his friends are gonna kick you. Well, you do realize that in the same situation, if you were a boxer, his friends are just gonna jump you, and there's nothing you can do. Like there's nothing you can do even if you are really good at stand-up. Like,
Getting jumped is always just you lose.
Getting jumped is always
if you get jumped, you lose.
You lose.
You
Like,
can't win.
There's
against
no.
a lot of people.
You can't win.
Maybe against 2 people you can do something, but like when it gets to 3,
Three,
it's already
there's nothing
really
you can do.
hard. You're not really gonna do anything anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? You can just throw someone down and run away. Or you once said this before. You told me once, if another option presents itself throughout the course of this conflict, you should always take the other option.
Yeah.
It's like, say you're fighting, you're tussling around, right? And then you throw the guy down, and you notice, oh, there's an exit over there. Run. Like, don't keep fighting him. Run. You know what I mean?
Ideally, when there is a conflict, you want to do all the other steps before the baseline of violence. When you do reach the baseline of violence, you want to get out of that baseline of violence as fast as possible. Either with talking him down as you defend yourself, or defend yourself and run away. Okay, use your own judgment for this. Yeah.
It's just something that always bothered me because
It always
I
bothers
feel
me.
like they don't respect jiu-jitsu. I have this one friend, right? He's more muscular than me, and he once told me, and this really got me angry. He said that he would beat me in a fight because when he gets mad, he would see me.
When he sees
It's
the red.
literally such a meme,
It's
and he
such a
said
meme.
it. He said it
You
word
see
for word. I was
red.
like, no way you just said that, bro. No way you just said that. Like, you know how cringe that was? He unironically said the meme, bro.
He said, when I get angry, I see red, the body start hitting the floor.
When I get angry, bro, I'll start swinging, bro. You would die. And what the hell? Dude, I can get angry too. I can start swinging too. Except for I also do kickboxing and you don't do anything. It's like, do you wanna die? Yeah, but like, the thing is, I would never fight him, right? Because he's my friend again. But that really cringed me. I told him, like, dude, you're talking out of your ass right now.
Yeah.
But it's always like that, man. Like, when you talk to your other jiu-jitsu friends, they're like, and you talk about, oh, who would win between us? That's more fun, you know. That's more fun because you spar and then you're like, you see, if this was a street fight, I would have killed you. Yeah, but
True.
but it always gets me mad, but at the same time, it's really funny. Like I laugh inside, you know. I just laugh whenever people say stuff like that. You know?
If anything, you can just do it for the health benefits as well, you know.
Yeah, the health benefits.
Yeah,
man.
the health benefits.
Like,
I've just do
I've become
jiu-jitsu.
so shredded. Like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not really shredded. It's just I've lost a lot of fat doing jiu-jitsu, and I look a lot better.
It's extremely good cardio. Actually makes you become more toned, like bigger muscles, and it also like helps you become more flexible.
Yeah.
A lot because you
Dude, the
need to be
flexibility is
flexible
insane.
to be able to do the jiu-jitsu moves. So you get better at being flexible in general as well.
Yeah. You know what's a really funny stretch that I started trying to do is the thing where you do this.
Yeah.
It always breaks my neck too.
Yeah, it does.
I gotta do it slowly and stuff, but I'm not good at that.
Yeah, it's very important to get used to that though, because
Yeah.
it is very important.
There's this thing called pressure passing where someone literally just folds you.
Yeah, and if you
And
can
it
resist
hurts-
being folded,
It hurts your
then,
back so
it will do
much.
wonders.
Because they put all their weight on your spine and you're being folded. I remember I saw this funny clip once of this one porn star streamer. She said like, I have spine issues now from getting folded and banged, right? And whenever I'm in that position, I just think of that quote and I thought it was... you know, because they're like this, their legs spread, you know?
Yeah.
What's that called? Pile drive?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Pile driver, something like that.
And I heard that quote, and it just makes me laugh because I'm like, man, I've been in that position before. I know what she's talking about. You know?
I can relate.
I can relate. To
I
that
can
quote,
relate.
so- except for there's like no dick to ass contact. You know, it's covered up. It's more decent.
It's covered up. It's more decent.
But yeah, it's like exactly the same position. I know what she's talking about. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's made me laugh.
Anyway, we hope to have talked good about our martial art and got you convinced to try it at least before you say anything. Because yeah, it is extremely fun and we love doing it.
It is very important to us that people just know this, how good it is to do a martial art.
Yeah.
Because everyone, especially like this, like our stepfather, right? He's an old dude, right? Old German dude. whenever we talk about jiu-jitsu and stuff, anything somewhat violent, he gets mad at us saying, "Oh, you guys are so violent. Why do you have fun hurting other people?" And it just, I just don't think he understands. And I don't think he will ever understand because he's old. But, you know, I'm making some YouTube videos now talking about it.
Yeah, hoping to get the new generation interested.
Yeah,
in it.
younger people now.
Yeah, because there's not enough people that do jiu-jitsu, and there's not enough people that know about it. There's not enough people. I would love this martial art, and I would be extremely happy if it grows to be more popular. So we're trying to put in the work now to make content and hopefully spread the gospel.
Spread the gospel. Jiu-jitsu is awesome. Do it because it's cool. Thing is, I mean, I understand it is quite expensive, which just kind of makes me sad. Thing is, I myself am broke as well, and yet I'm still paying for it. I don't know, I just love it, man. You guys can do whatever you want, especially financially. I wouldn't like expect anyone to make themselves broke for it, but I would make myself broke for it.
Me too.
I would be broke to do jiu-jitsu, man.
It's that good.
Yeah, it's that awesome.
Same.
Okay. Stone floor. Ah! Sorry, couldn't touch. fucking girl. I'm so tired. I can't hold it anymore. I literally don't have strength. I let you go because I couldn't hold anymore. I literally had no strength. I was like, my muscles.
Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. That was episode 2 of
Chatting on the mat.
and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.